Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back. And today we are going to be, we're going to unload this trailer. This is actually one of my test trailers. I have a test long log trailer over there too. I've unloaded this trailer so many times, it's not even funny. So we're actually just going to unload it and sell it here. Look how smooth that grapple is. Just beauty. Just frickin' beautiful. Let's grab that here. So I'm going to use the grinder as well today, and we're going to clean up some of the stumps that are laying about next to where I have it. I have that Weiler machine there that has the grinder on it. So I think I'm going to use that one and just grind up some of the stumps, destroy some of the ground a little bit. I do really like the ground destruction effect on that thing. It's pretty sweet. Oops, got a little loose one up top there. Whoop. And be careful. In real life, I've had that happen. Oh, man, she's scary sometimes. Especially in winter, if you go pick up a big grapple full of stuff like this and you get a loose one on top, if you're swinging and not paying attention and that loose one's on there, if you stop, they just go rocketing off into the distance and they can hit people or cars or your own personal vehicle if you're dumb enough to park that close to where you're unloading. And it ain't pretty. So, gotta be careful. So let's get this bunk. I just want to free up this trailer for when we decide to unload or to load up that stuff that we've been forwarding. I just want it freed up so that we can do our thing. Excuse me. Yeah, I love how it rolls up. Oh, so nice. I mean, this grapple's huge too. This is like the large... This is the Power Clam X, I called it. This is the new heavy-duty Power Claw. It's strictly for unloading, like for unloading trailers and stuff like that. But you can definitely load with it too, and it's a beauty. A little less accurate. You're going to find that if you're using larger grapples, it's going to be a little less accurate for your loading, just because you have so much mass that you're moving and so much material. It's a little harder to be really nitpicky and specific. All right. You guys gonna take a guess on how much that load's gonna be worth? I think we have our HUD off here too. I better turn that back on. Hold on a sec here. There we go. Oops, let's turn that machine off there too. I don't know, like 40 grand? Well, that might be a bit of a stretch. What did we get? Ooh, 50. What does it say? 54,175. It's in euros though. So can we change that? Because I want it to be in dollars. So in euros, that's probably quite a bit. Euros to dollars. Do they have a conversion rate in this game? Is there a place I can actually set? Oh, here we go. Money unit. We can do dollars, pounds. So we want dollars. We want kilometers, Celsius, acres, and hectares. I really don't care about that part. That's good to have. So I wonder what the heck that is in euros to dollars. I don't know. Be less dollars. So if it's, or no, it'll be more dollars. So if it's 54,000 euros to dollars, man, I don't know. I don't know what the conversion would be. Maybe be like 100 grand or something. Probably double the amount. I think it's quite a bit. It's like $2 or something to the US dollar, or two something. I can't remember. It was something at one point. Now, I actually have a video that's rendering in the background while I'm playing this game. So we're really going to kind of push our limits of whether the game can handle the physics or not this time around. So if it starts lagging out a little bit, I'm going to know what's up. I can already feel it's getting a little bit of jitters. But, I mean, we're also, you know, rendering a video in the background. So we get what we get. Yeah, I can feel it a bit for sure. I was like, oh, let's try it and just see what happens, you know, screw it. But it's also good. I like to test it on low frame rate as well. I haven't actually done a really heavy mod testing with low frame rate graphics yet, so this will be it for us. Low frame rate. Beep. So what is our frames? You can see our frames in the top right. So, oh, it's not like terrible, I guess, but you can see it dropping, right? It goes up and down. So we're kind of under a certain amount. This game's physics are god-awful in anything below 40 FPS. So people who believe in 30 FPS, well, It's a sad life for you because it's bad times for physics. But this game's frame rate directly is affected in the physics. So you got to keep that in mind while you're doing stuff. But yeah, the physics under 30 frames a second even, oh my god, the physics do some really god-awful things, like horrible, god-awful things. So you want to try to keep your frame rate up as high as possible. So if your computer can't handle it, one thing is to make sure you got nothing running in the background. So for instance, I have, like I said, I have a whole video rendering off my graphics card right now. So that's just mean to do to the graphics card. It's having a fight for its life while trying to do both worlds. But with the NVIC or NVEC encoder stuff, it's actually a lot better than it used to be, because you used to try to go encode a video playing a game was impossible. You can do anything on your computer, and now I can do both, which is pretty wild. So make sure you turn your graphics down. You don't have anything crazy running in the background. You know, that's the kind of stuff you got to look out for when you're playing with graphical settings. Turning things off, like anti-aliasing, that's a huge one I noticed on this game's performance. Shadows, if you have too many shadows going on, turn that down, because that's definitely really rough on it to you. In a perfect world, you could just run this game at max graphics, but it's not well optimized even for current video card standards for that, so... Oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Oh, man, my depth perception is just not having it. There we go. So, I mean, the fact that I have a video rendering and there's this many logs in this pile, I don't know, that's a pretty good tell for me. It feels like it's running half decently. So these are a little... I want to kind of see if I can butt those up a bit. Ooh. Well, whatever. Better-ish. It's hard to butt when you got mixed... or hard to pencil when you have mixed sizes together. If the logs are fairly close to each other in size in your grab, it'll go pretty well. When you got like a really big one in there and then some small ones in there... yeah, it's usually not going to pencil super duper well. So grab this little pile. Oh, that one's stuck there. Get off there. I'm going to throw that in the middle. So yeah, like I said, normally I'd be loading this stuff by now, but we're just doing a real hardcore single player test here. I don't think I'm going to add any more onto that pile until that video stops rendering. Okay, so let's go here. And we'll get this machine right out of here. We'll get this sucker right out of here. Turn it around. I'm going to actually go park this thing up back by the block where we were there. And then I'm going to use that Wheeler guy right there, that yellow one. And we're going to grind up this ground a little bit, because this ground needs to be grinded with all these stumps. I actually might go for a walk up the road with it and see what we can do. There's one weird effect you guys will notice, that when the brush cutter is on and you're moving, it kind of does a weird jitter thing, and I have looked everywhere to try to figure that out, why it does it. Because it doesn't do it on the bunchers, but it does do it on the brush cutter. And it could be just because of the type of implement it is. It feels like it's got a... I mean, it has some kind of a speed limiter, because when I turn on the brush cutter when I'm driving the skidder, the max speed of the skidder normally is... the max speed is 25 kilometers an hour. But when I turn on the brush cutter while I'm rolling with it, suddenly I can only go 15 kilometers an hour, or 20, or whatever it is. So it does cut the speed down. So there's some kind of limiter that happens when that's going, and I'm not sure if that's just a game mechanic so that the ground can be plowed more efficiently, or I don't know what's going on there. But I wasn't able to find like a reason for why that is the way it is, so not really 100% sure on that one. So I'm going to park this right next to this pile here. And then we're going to take Bad Boy here. Where is he? Bad boy, where are you? Everything but that one I wanted. So this is the Wheeler, the big angry Wheeler. So again, if you push V, it'll wreck that ground. It does have a really high cut node, but that's just for the skidder. so you can really mess up the ground. But I use it to get rid of these stumps. You can grind them all up. But if you don't want to use it, if you hit V, it won't destroy the ground, and you can just go wipe out the stumps that way too. But me, I love destroying the ground. Oh, I love destroying it. Having that just immediately tear up the ground is just so sweet. Don't know why, but I can't help myself. Come on, it looks cool too, doesn't it? I think it looks sweet. So let's roast out this pile. I actually did a short video. You guys probably have watched it, where I was demoing this. And this is the actual pile that I used in that video. Because it was an old save game, or this was the save game, and I just kept reloading the save game. So you can get right down into the guts here and mow it down. It's not perfect for grinding, but you know what? It does the job. If you kind of roll up the piles a bit and then just kind of work it back and forth, it'll clean up all those little bits. And again, if you don't want the mud effect if it's driving you nuts, just hit V for Victor. It'll turn the mud effect off, and then you can just sit here and grind the trees without the ground. I love the mud, so I'm just going to keep mowing that shite. I wonder if I can get a cool shot of that. I need a thumbnail for this episode, so... Here, let's wipe out that stump up there first. Oops. It's ruining my shot. And then we gotta turn up our HUD, get a nice screenshot. There you go. That's how you get good screenshots. You gotta get the right angle. Perfect. Now you guys will know the secret sauce of the screenshots. But this game, honestly, like, it takes the nicest pictures. I have a whole bunch that I'm going to post here. You may have even seen them before this video comes out, but the, man, the lighting in this game makes every angle of the machines look pretty sweet. I mean, there's still obviously better angles than others, but for the most part, most of the pictures I take turn out pretty wildly good. Let's keep going. I'm just going to roast. What I'm basically doing is I just want to clean up these tops. Normally, I drag all the trees to one location so that the pieces are all together in one area, so then you can just do what I just did, where it's just this big pile you mow. Looks like I actually had some full-size trees in there, too. It was a test pile, so who knows. Looks like we got them all. Clean all this crap up here. But I watch videos of guys mulching bushes and stuff, and this is basically what they do. They strap a mulcher on there, and they just grind it back and forth on the ground and rip it all to crap, and they got some pretty impressive grinder heads on there to do it. But you see, okay, so this is that jitter I'm talking about. So watch this. You see how it almost looks like it's jumping? But if I turn the head off, look it all goes smooth. Turn the head back on, it starts to jump again. It's very minor. It's not like game-breaking jump or anything, but it's just really weird. It's a weird effect. And I have tried for the life of me to figure out what that is, and it's like I can't find a setting for it. Like, there's no setting to limit, there's no setting to stop. So the only thing you can do is turn it off while you're traveling until you get to your next pile. So if it's off, then we're traveling over here, can't want to grind, turn it back on, then do your grinding, do your thing, turn it off, go. You can do it that way too. Honestly, the jitter really isn't that big of a deal for me, especially if I'm trying to like grind everything up anyway. But I can imagine to some people it'd be kind of annoying if you don't like that. But yeah, I don't know. I can't get rid of it. At least not this time of this video. Maybe it'll be gone by the time. Maybe I'll figure it out. But I went through every single setting on the attacher joints, on the head itself. So I'm thinking it's something internal to do with the actual specification of what kind of machine it is or attachment. Being a stump cutter / cultivator, grinder, plow thing. All right, let's... I think I'm just going to make this a through road right here. So let's just grind up the ground here a little bit. Just building our own road here at this point. So if you're the kind of person that wants to build roads, oh man, you can probably have some fun with this guy. because I actually don't mind doing this. This is kind of fun. And just kind of doing your own little thing. The other thing is you can actually jump turn with these. I don't know if this head can do it. Oh, maybe this one can't really. Might not be enough weight. But you know what we could do is we could increase the weight of it. Let's do that while we're here. It's the joys of being a modder. I don't like how light it is. Let's put some juices on it. What the heck is it? It's a brush. Oops, the brush cutter, not the Weiler. Not the Wheeler Weiler. So right now it's really light. Let's turn that up a bit. Let's put it to 5,000, which is pretty much the weight of the other heads. And what that's going to do is now, one, there's going to be some weight on there. So I'll probably be able to tip my machine over if I put it off axis too far. Oh, maybe not. This one doesn't have quite enough weight. But now if I plunk that head down, I should be able to almost rotate my whole machine and do a jump turn. But if it's too light, then you can't do that with the implements. But you see how I can actually turn my machine? My tracks aren't even rolling right now. That's realistic, because in real life, you can do that with excavators. Just put the head down and then just do a turn, and you can actually slide your tracks back and forth like you see here. So jump turns are cool. So maybe I'll leave the weight on that thing. We'll see what happens. Do it in the next update or something. So I'm building a through road right over this lumpy bump right here that we keep driving over with the other machine. So we're going to go here. And you can also do this with the skidder as well. Just driving. It's probably a little bit faster for going. Probably won't be quite as detailed as this though. But this could be a full-time job for somebody in multiplayer road building. Just going out and doing this. This will be Flirty's job we're going to give to him. Flirty, you're the road mower. Actually, screw that. This might be my job. This is fun. It's a little slow, but that'd be kind of cool building like logging roads. Have the buncher go ahead, and then whoever's in this thing just follows behind, grinds up bits, or follows the skidder. I don't know. I think it's cool. Don't you guys think it's cool? Come on now. I can't be the only one that thinks this is kind of neat. Road building with a grinder. And I guess we don't need the road to be that wide. We're not driving a fleet of tanks down here. Just a little forwarder. Oh, missed a spot here. Really grind this crap up. Let's take a look, see what it looks like. Yeah, so then you get this kind of gnarly road. That looks like so much cooler. I bet if you go from this view. Yeah, look at that. It looks so sweet. You just got this like nasty looking road that you're building. And then you can just do that out to like a block or an area, or just keep going down the road. Do whatever you want. And then on the map, that actually shows up as like this gnarly road that you're building. See how thick it is now from since we started? That looks pretty sweet. I don't know. It's stuff like that. I don't know. I love that kind of stuff. Just having that ability to make that little bit of improvement goes a long way. So, there it is. Beauty. Beauty and the Beast. So again, if you ever run equipment before, this is a very common thing to do with excavators, is just grinding back and forth. Well, not using a grinder, very common, but with your bucket, doing this type of movement, like you're kind of doing your rows. It's good practice. I'm even not super great at it, but doing rows where you're not touching the ground, keeping your stick and boom arm moving at the same rate. I think what do they call it, raking, I think, in equipment land. There's so many different names for it. Some people call it sleuthing or sleuth cleaning or whatever the hell it was called. And then raking, because you're raking the ground technically. There's all kinds of different terminologies for it. Just clean up this crappy bit here. I guess I could be cleaning up the top piles a little bit too, if I wanted. That's the key, if I wanted to, and I kind of really don't care, so we're just going to keep doing what we're doing here. I'm smoking out stumps and stuff that I see, so that's good enough. I can hear the odd one getting hit and going bleh. just clean up all the juices that are left behind. And like I said, there's stumps over there I could go, or the leftover pieces from the processor that I could go clean up if I really wanted to, but I just don't really care. So again, this head has both a plow and a cultivator script on it. So as you can see, the ground is leaving behind this sort of these little nubs, and these are actual plow texture, and then on top is that cultivated texture. Because the head, both the buncher and this thing have that same script, it requires both if you want to destroy the ground. Oh, that video is done rendering in the background, so we can close that. And now my performance should be quite a bit better in the game here. But yeah, without both the scripts, because I tried it with just the cultivator script to make the ground that cultivatory look, and it works, but it doesn't get rid of the bushes. So I'm mowing along with the buncher trying to clear brush, and it doesn't get rid of the bushes. It only gets rid of the terrain, like the ground changes to a muddy terrain. So I had to add that plow script. Now, when they're working in unison together, they kind of fight each other. But it's kind of cool because, like I said, it leaves these ruts, right? So you get like a little bit of cultivated, and then these holes, like these rip holes from the plow. So honestly, it was kind of like a happy accident where it just made the roads really gutty and gnarly looking. So when you're rolling around with this brush cutter, you can actually make some really disgusting looking roads in the mud, which is just rad as hell. Gnarly, disgusting looking roads. And like I said, if you're doing this kind of like raking style with the excavator to build your roads, yeah, you can make some pretty cool stuff. And I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go off the beaten path and start knocking down trees and make your own road. Like if I wanted to, let's just have a fun moment here. If I wanted to have my own little block over here, well, here's a bunch of crap over here too, and clean up. So if I wanted to just kind of go off in my own direction, oh, there's a tree in my way, so I can get my head up high, roast that tree out, it'll start falling down, and then I can just grind it up. Do this kind of action. Like so. Clean up my bits. But as you can see, now I can start my own little path here. So let's just build our own little road here for fun. So now these bigger trees, the higher you can put your boom arm to start, probably the better. Because now you're going to see the tops falling down and pieces falling down. It's going to be a big old mess. These are pretty tall trees, so... But you can mow them right down to the dirt and just build your own little path. It's kind of fun. Honestly, just doing this alone is so entertaining. Again, once you get into the bigger trees, you just got to be a little more careful you're not dropping... Well, I mean, it's a game, but got to be careful you're not dropping it on top of you. So, like, I'd start cutting this one. It'll start falling in pieces. I mean, you could just drop it, let it fall, but again, it's going to fall on my head now. So let's turn our head off and give it a bump and see if we can skip it over us here. So if you let it fall instead, it's probably the better method. I'm just going to turn our head sideways here. See, it's doing that thing where it falls through the ground again. Look at that little bugger. That's okay. We got this beautiful tool that'll take care of that issue in a heartbeat here. So again, the bigger trees, you're going to see a little bit more issues with the cut node. You have to work them a little bit more because there's just a lot of mass to those trees. And then you can do your thing. Again, it's better to do it with a buncher. Go through, knock the trees down with a buncher first, and then come back, pull them out of there, and come back and clean up like we have on this road here. But, I mean, if you really wanted to spend the time, you can go through and grind up. Like I said, we just took down that whole tree there. You can build yourself your own little, you know, your little side roads and all that fun stuff. This is actually really fun, I'm not going to lie. I'm having a really good time with this right now. In case you didn't notice. And then when you're working on this really crappy, muddy ground, I'm just going to wipe out this tree too because it's just here and in my direction. When you're working on this really crappy, muddy ground, you'll notice your tracks get a lot muddier a lot faster. I mean, they're not actually that bad right now. But if it starts raining in the game, this mud will get really nasty and it'll stick to the tracks a little heavier. Anyway, I could probably do that for like 6 months and just keep going. We'll probably keep going on that road in future episodes when we run out of things to do. But that's pretty sweet. And I love that you can just grind away and build your own little roads. So if you have multiplayer crews of guys working and you're looking for things to do, you got a guy that's bored, stick them on that sucker and just get them road building because that's a fun job too. road building, forwarding, you name it. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for this episode, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.